Hey friends, before we start the video, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, hit that like button as well. Thanks. What's up everybody? Welcome back to the Scrap Trawlers channel where we do EDH on a budget. I'm your host, Andy Zupke. With me as always, this guy up here, Nick Martin. Nick, how are you?
I'm here with my new camera. Well, I don't know. I've had the camera for a month. I don't know how to use it, but we're here now. We're happy to be here. Great intro, I know. We're doing it.
We nailed that one. We're gonna let's write that one down. Make sure we script it next time so that we can do it each time, because that was flawless.
I promise.
Nick, why don't you tell everybody why we're here tonight?
All right, so today we are talking about our top 10 cards that make us smile from Kaldheim. Lots of Nordic notes on here. I don't know anything about Nordic mythology. Andy, do you?
Everything I know about their mythology I learned from the Magnus Chase books. It's written by Rick Riordan. He also did the Percy Jackson series.
Oh, the Lightning Thief. Okay.
Yeah. So he did the Greek god series, but he also did another series which was the Norse mythology, like Thor and Odin and all that. And they're actually really good books. I read them to my daughter. So that's how I know some things about their mythology, but not much.
You should have had her on today instead of me. So she knows what's going on. Yeah, all I know is the Thor, whatever Thor movie it was with the Mario Kart Rainbow Road. I don't know which one it is.
The what?
There's a Rainbow Road, like it goes to
the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in all of the movies.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
The Bifrost, yes. Thank you, Andy. That's the other name for it. Yeah. We want to kick things off and move on to our positivity spotlight for the week. I'm going to send this one on over to you, Nick. This was your nomination for the spotlight, so tell us who you nominated here.
Yeah, so this week I wanted to nominate BarbariansRiddle over on Twitter. You can find the Twitter handle. It's at BarbariansRidd, R-I-D-D, and then the number 1. So if you're not already following him, and he's got a lot of followers, almost it's 899 as of right now.
It's more than me.
He's a we can make it 900 tonight. Let's do it.
It's more than both of us combined.
Yeah. We should have him sponsor the show. So with us being focused on budget content, he puts in a lot of effort to point out where to find nice deals on cards and potential price spikes. He's called out a couple of the good snow cards that did not spike before Kaldheim, surprisingly. So if you're able to pick those up because of him, give him a thanks. He's also just a really positive force on Twitter, really advocating for marginalized peoples and all of that. So I just want to give a big thank you to BarbariansRiddle for doing what you do.
Cool. Thank you very much. All right. Well, that out of the way, should we start looking at some Kaldheim cards?
Yeah, the exciting stuff. It's why everyone is here.
Yeah. So people joining us tonight on chat, first of all, thank you. You could be doing a lot of other things, but you're here with us, and we appreciate you. While you're listening, think about what cards have got your attention and made you smile from this set. And at the end of our list here, bring them up, and we'll talk about them. All right.
And no, Caleb, we're not talking about symbiotic development. I know you love that card, but I don't like it.
Is that in this set?
No, it's... We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
It's not a good card.
Okay. All right. Well, Kaldheim, top 10. All right, we're going to start with one of my cards, if that's all right with you, Mr. Martin.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so we're going to bring it up here. We've got Mystic Reflection. Look at all those cute sharks. All right.
Cute, yes.
And despite what you see in the movies, sharks don't roar, ever. They don't make a noise. Anyway.
Wait, which movie?
the shark movies.
Okay.
All of them.
Shark ones, right.
You know, Shark 1, Shark 2, Shark 3, The
Of course.
Revenge.
The Empire Bites Back.
Shark 4, Dream Warriors.
Dream Warriors. They're going on the Rainbow Road Bifrost. That makes sense.
I don't know if you've noticed this, but I have a bit of an obsession with horror movie sequel titles. And I keep coming back to it all the time. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about this card.
Yeah.
Mystic Reflection, Avenger of Zendikar, Grave Titan, Myr Battlesphere, Hornet Queen, many other creatures that dump out tokens when they enter. This card is going to be great with all of them. But let's not forget that this card doesn't actually specify that it has to be your creatures. So you can cast this in response to somebody casting like a really big bomb creature and have that enter as a copy of like a Llanowar Elves instead. Although Llanowar Elves can be deadly, I have learned. And that Foretell ability is really, really good. I'm really digging Foretell. I think it's extremely powerful. What do you think of Foretell?
It's so when I first saw it, I thought it was just spell morph, and then I realized that more than just spells, like creatures can have Foretell too. I think it's okay. I'm not super hyped on it, but I do want to buy that the commander deck when it comes out, just to take it for a spin, see what happens.
Yeah.
Foretell on this card, kind of interesting because the card already costs 2. So if you want to like get somebody with it, you can either exile it and keep it safe from all of that. From like Thoughtseize, because people are playing that in EDH. You can just kind of get somebody for 1, but I do kind of like it. It reminds me of the card Ice Cauldron, if you know what that is.
No, I don't.
So Ice Cauldron is a card from original Ice Age. I think it's 3 or 4 mana. It's an artifact. You can pay X and tap it to exile a card underneath it, or X is its converted mana cost, and then it gets like that many Cauldron counters or whatever it is. And then you can later on just tap it, remove that charge counter, and cast that card. So I'm pretty sure this is what Foretell was based off of, because it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just pulled it up on Scryfall here. Man, that's too much text. I don't play cards with that much text, because I don't have the attention span to read them. So Andy Flory in chat said that this is his number 1 card that he's most excited about. And he mentioned Master of Waves, which I did not mention. That's the one that comes in with 0/1 elementals equal to your devotion to blue, right?
Yes.
So
no, 1 zeros.
1 zeros. Okay.
But then they give all the elementals +1/+1.
Right. There we go. Okay. So yeah, it just it creates a lot of stuff if you target the right creature, or it messes up your opponents if you target the wrong creature. All right.
Yeah, I saw some rumblings about using it on Avenger of Zendikar, and I don't want to know what happens. I just know it's really good.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. You ready to move on to your number 10?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see it.
All right, so I also have a blue card. It is Reflections of Littjara, or Yara, I don't know, Littjara. It's 4 and a blue. When an ET beast, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, copy that spell. So this is the second time that we've ever seen the reminder text, a copy of a spell. A permanent spell becomes a token. The first time it was on Lithovorm engine. So if you're using a tribal deck and you cast like a Slither sorcery spell, or a Sling with Changeling, you copy it, which is pretty sweet. This is just really good if you're running Relentless Rats or the Relentless Bureaucrats. What are they called? The mill guys. What are they called?
Yeah.
I should know because I literally just built a deck around this yesterday. Persistent Petitioners. There we go.
There you go. We're good at this.
Yes, we are.
Very professional.
It's also just good if you're like, this would be good in Teresa's Merfolk deck.
That's actually what I was thinking.
Oh, good, nice.
Merfolk, yeah. I think this is probably going to go in a lot of Merfolk decks.
Yeah, I think it's just good in even loosely based tribal decks.
Mm-hmm.
Just because if you can double up on things like, I don't know, like an Archaeomancer or something like that, that's also a lot of value.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, this is also on my list later down the road here, so we'll come back to it.
All right.
Let's move on to my
number 9?
number 9. Cosima, God of the Voyage.
Oh no, there's a shark. It's a dolphin. Why are there dolphins?
I don't know. Why are there sharks?
It's like a Lisa Frank, coloring book.
I like it. Okay. Maybe I want this on my Trapper Keeper. I don't know.
Maybe you do. I mean, it is pretty cool.
You don't like this art? We'll go to the other art. I don't care.
No.
Just look at this. It's so boring. It's so boring. Wow, look at that art. Okay. So, I actually had to read this card. Well, I haven't stopped reading the card.
It's still reading it to this day. Legend has
it's the card that doesn't end. I'm gonna read it right now because it's so much that I've already forgotten what all it does. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile Cosima. If you do, it gains. Whenever a land enters a battlefield under your control, if Cosima is exiled, you may put a voyage counter on it. If you don't, return Cosima to the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, and draw X cards, where X is the number of voyage counters on it.
Yeah, so explain this to me. How does this work?
So, in your upkeep, you can just ship them off to exile, and from there on, whenever you play a land, whenever land enters a battlefield, I should say, you put a voyage counter on it. And then you have the option of bringing it back, and you draw cards equal to the number of voyage counters on it. And it gets +1/+1 counters too. Yeah.
Okay.
It's also a boat. Okay, so I got to tell you, like, at least 3 times I misread this as the Amulet, but it's the Omen Keel, legendary artifact vehicle. So this is the first MDFC that we're looking at from this set. So we had these in Zendikar Rising, but those were all just like a spell or a land or a land or a land. So now this time on the backside, we're getting actual cards here, and it's pretty interesting. So the Omelet says, the Omen Keel says, whenever a vehicle you control deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles that many cards from the top of their library. You may play lands from among those cards for as long as they remain exiled.
So Andy Flurry in chat is saying motto blue boats.
Yeah. Still doesn't make Silent Submersible playable though, but still, it's a very cool card. I like both sides of it. I don't know which side I like better, but I think both sides of it are really cool. And I don't know. I'm tempted. I've always wanted to build a vehicle deck, but I've always thought that there wasn't just enough good vehicles. But now with this set, I think there are.
You have your first, if you want to do like a SeaWorld tribal commander, here's your option.
Mm-hmm.
So you got the apparently dolphin tribal.
Yeah, we got sharks in
this. There's 3 dolphins in there.
Yeah. Oh, there's a giant octopus in the background too. Do you see that?
Right. That's sweet. I didn't notice that.
That's pretty cool. Cool art. Cool card. The Omelet. I'm digging it. Let's move on to your next card, huh?
All right, cool.
All right, here's another blue one.
It is. So we have Giant's Amulet. It is a 1-mana colored artifact. When it enters the battlefield, you can pay 3 and a blue. If you do, create a 4/4 blue giant wizard creature token, and then attach the Giant's Amulet to it. Creature gets +0/+1, and has hexproof as long as it's untapped, and equip for 2. So, Wizards is continuing to do that. The color artifacts thing, so they can't abuse them as much, which, for one thing I do appreciate, because some of the equipment is kind of stupid. And the other thing I hate, because I can't use this in Blind Sea or Fire Pro Blue because it's blue. So reason why this card makes me smile. Anything that makes a giant whatever is cool. I find the giant creature type attached to anything else just really funny. Like, you can make a giant boat, or, you know, a giant wizard. It's really funny. I like it. But this is also a really nice budget hexproof option for any of your blue decks now. Instead of using boots or greaves or whatever, you now have your options of the shield from Theros with the Medusa on it. Now you have this for your blue decks, which is really nice.
Yeah.
The untap thing is okay if you're just using it for using your commander for value and you're not really attacking. So I don't think it's much of a downside.
Yeah, or if it is vigilance, yeah, I dig this too. I think I actually I didn't notice that it had the hexproof on it until you said it before we were about to go live. So that makes me actually like this card a lot more, because we are definitely in need of more protection like this in budget EDH, because it's hard to budget for boots. You definitely can't budget for greaves in a $50 deck. And the boots is kind of borderline, so it's nice to have more options like this.
Yeah, there was a time when greaves were actually less expensive than boots before it was reprinted.
Huh. That's weird.
But this would probably be like a cool quarter, so I'm happy to pick up a lot of these.
Yeah, I'll probably get a few as well. All right, moving on. We have Varigoth, Blood Sky Sire. All right, so it's Vampiric Tutor in the command zone. How nice is that? That's pretty powerful. So yeah, you obviously got to jump through some hoops to get it. That hoop being you got to attack with the dude. But this thing comes out so early, you're likely to get at least one attack off of it, right? I mean, you could play this on turn 1 with a Dark Ritual.
Or with the Lotus.
Yeah, which none of us are playing.
Nobody has.
None of us are playing that card.
Yeah.
Come on. All right. What do you think?
So I'm not one for tutors, especially in the command zone. Like, I don't have anything against them. I just personally don't prefer to play them.
Mm-hmm.
But this is pretty sweet because it is tied to, you know, having to attack. So your opponents are damned if they do, because it has Death Touch, and damned if they don't, because if they don't kill it, you're just going to do it again. So what would you search for this? Me personally, I'd probably try to run it as like a mono black Voltron commander, where you're tuning up like relevant protection pieces. So if they don't kill it on the first swing, you search for boots or, you know, dark steel plate or something like that, just to suit it up so you can keep getting value off of it.
Yeah.
And then if they do end up killing it, you've already gotten most of the value you need to recast it. You just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of value in this card. I dig it a lot. Okay, up next.
All right. So I have a legendary creature. Ooh, you get the good art. So we got Coma Cosmos Serpent, which is 3 double green and double blue for a legendary serpent that doesn't have anything to do with islands, which is amazing. So if you know anything about serpents in Magic, they love islands.
Oh, the island home, right?
Yeah, they either can't attack unless the defending player controls an island, or you have to sack a million islands to do anything. They're awful. This one is the exception. So 6/6 can't be countered. On each player's upkeep, you get a 3/3 blue serpent. And then you can sacrifice another serpent, so all those bad serpents that you have, you can just get rid of them. So that makes them good now. So sack another serpent, you can choose one. You can tap target permanent, and its activated abilities can't be activated this turn. I'm going to stop at that one. It says permanent, so you can just shut off somebody's lands if you really want to be spiteful. On their upkeep, you're just like, nah, no lands. You get nothing.
Yeah, but they can tap lands in response.
Sure, and then they go to their draw step, and then their mana's gone.
Go to the next phase, and then it's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to be spiteful, you can, you know, do that. This is a good way that that Sea Monster Tribal can now, you know, deal with planeswalkers. Like, it feels really bad as a Sea Monsters player having to swing your 8/8 at like a Sorin and not the player to kill them. It doesn't feel great. So being able to shut them off and make them irrelevant is really nice. And then it also has built-in protection where you can sack Serpent and give it indestructible, so it's gonna stick around for a while. Being the the Simic busted mythic of the set, this one's not too pushed, I don't think. Like it's pushed, I'm not gonna lie, but it's not how Simic cards normally are, in my opinion.
It's not a card draw value engine like that we've seen, or it doesn't double your mana or something stupid. No, I think it's much more in line with what we like to see from our legends. It's not completely overpowered and you hate to see it on the board. It looks like a lot of fun. I hope you brew this one.
I think I'm just gonna stick it in my Ricksmithies deck.
It's not the same thing. I told you to brew it.
Okay, I'll brew it, but then I'll still stick it in the Ricksmithies deck.
All right. All right, I'll take it. Okay. Next one is also another flippable legend. We've got Torolf. So if I'm understanding this card correctly, if you do a Blasphemous Act, well, I think Torolf will need to survive in order to trigger. But if you give him indestructible, or like pro red somehow, it's going to be pretty good. Also, Brash Taunter probably wants to go in this deck, and that's always fun, right? So it's 5/4 trample. Whenever creature, planeswalker, and opponent controls is dealt excess non-combat damage. So I like that we're looking at like excess damage now. We've been seeing that a little bit more, like we saw that with Ram Through in Ikoria. And this it has to be non-combat damage. That's why I was thinking like Blasphemous Act is probably pretty good, or whatever is the one that Starve Extinction does like 20 to every creature, right? Torolf deals damage equal to the excess to any target other than that permanent. So if you're dealing 13 damage to every creature, and they're not all gonna have 13 toughness, you're probably gonna be dealing a lot of damage. Especially
definitely. You can give it like a pro red sword or dark steel plate or whatever.
Yeah.
If it survives that Blasphemous Act, I think you're winning the game on the spot.
Yeah, probably. Especially if you're running like one of those doublers like Torbran or Fiery Emancipation. Ooh. I think everybody who's going to brew this deck is going to include Fiery Emancipation. Am I right?
I mean, I still don't have one. I need to get one.
I just bought one in Chinese. Saved a few bucks.
Ooh.
I don't know what I'm going to put it in. I don't have a deck for it, but I knew I wanted to get it before the price kept going up. Because it's been creeping up quite a bit. That's not all this card does. There's another side to this.
What?
Yeah, you want to see it?
No.
Woo!
Yeah, I do.
Torolf's Hammer. So I think this is probably their version of Thor, right?
Oh, I was thinking it was like Nazan.
No, because this is all. Okay, I'm not even gonna finish that sentence because now I know you're messing with me. All right, so it's an equipment. Equipped creature has 1 in red. Tap unattached Torolf's Hammer. It deals 3 damage to any target. Return Torolf's Hammer to its owner's hand. At which point you can then recast it as Torolf if you want. So that's pretty cool. Equipped creature gets +3/+0 as long as it's legendary. It's a good equipment too. It's really good. I really like. I'm thinking about running these flip gods in my Kaikar deck because I can cast them as non-creature spells if I want to, or I can cast them as creatures if I need it. I like it.
Yeah, and you can crew your boats or, put the hammer on a spirit. That's not bad. I like that.
Yeah, I like it. Good card.
Yeah, I think this is like a callback, at least this side. It's a callback to Hammer of Bogarden.
Okay.
Where it's like 1 and double red. You just hit something for 3, and then on your upkeep you can pay 4 or 5 and then put it back in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently it's very good in Cube. I don't know. I don't play bad cards. Speaking of bad cards, let's go to my next one.
Yeah, I'm a little... yeah, all right. So tell me about this one.
So I was on the couch looking at spoilers, and then I saw this. I'm like, wow, this is really good. And Aaron sitting next to me, and she's like, duh. Like, this card's stupid good. So Poison the Cup. Another foretell card. 1 and double black. You murder a creature, but if it was foretold, you scry 2. So at worst, it's a murder, which is still a perfectly fine card in Commander, especially on a budget.
Not anymore. Not with this.
Well, yeah, this is the better murder. So you can foretell it, put it away for later, which also with foretell, it puts it face down, which I didn't realize at first. Because I feel like if it was face up, your opponent can just kind of play around it.
Yeah, foretell would not be good if they were face up. Face down is definitely why I like foretell so much, because I mean, obviously they know what colors you're in, but other than that, it could be anything. It could be a boat.
It could be.
In this case, I think it could be.
You know what? In limited, it's possible. It could be a boat.
Could be a boat.
But yeah, just having the scry too is nice. Big fan of scry and Commander. The temples are some of my favorite non-basic lands, just because they're super cheap to pick up. Scrying is really good in the early game, and so you don't fall too far behind your opponents. So I like it.
So this art confuses the crap out of me, though. That doesn't look like Norse clothing. That looks more like Egyptian clothing, doesn't it? What that person's wearing?
Oh, you're right.
Like that looks more like a character from out of Amonkhet or something. It doesn't look like anything a Norse person would be wearing. I don't think. So that's that card. Like I saw the art, I'm like, that looks weird. It looks like it's in the wrong set.
That's why they're poisoning that person, because that art doesn't belong here.
They don't belong here. Get out of here. Yeah. We kill you.
Wrong gods.
With this glowing purple poison that you somehow didn't notice in your cup, idiot.
It could have been Phyrexian oil. By the way, I guess that's not a thing anymore, so that's cool.
Oh, speaking of which, because that card is not on either of our lists, thankfully, what is that card? Yeah. What is it doing in here? Like, what's the story behind Vorinclex being in this set? How did it get there? It's not a planeswalker.
So I haven't read the stories. I've been trying to follow the cards with the like what they do for people like me. They just put it on the story spotlight cards.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw Vorinclex, and then I saw the foretell spell that has Kai on it, where you give a creature double strike, and she's stabbing Vorinclex in the head. So I assume Vorinclex is dead and nothing happened. I'm probably wrong, but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, I don't know if anybody in chat is following the story of this set and can tell us why Vorinclex is on a different plane. Let us know. All right, should we move on?
Yeah.
Oh, we got a real cutie here. This is oh, look at them! Look at the kitties. So this is Essica's Chariot. So I prefer the non-showcase version of this one, because the showcase one's not nearly as cute. Because those cats are floofy and adorable.
Is that the name of the cat?
And well, look at this. Look at this. One of them is sleeping. It's taking a nap in the chariot. How cute is that? If it fits, it sits, right? It's also a good card. So whenever it attacks, you create a token that's a copy of a token you control. So you populate. Populate. That's how you pronounce it, right? Populate?
Yeah.
Popples? I'm thinking of Popples, the old toy that you flipped inside out. You populate?
That was from the 50s, right?
That was from before you were born, yeah.
Yeah, the 50s. The only thing I don't like about this card is, like, the crew is ridiculous for what this does. I'm glad it's an attack trigger, but crew 4 is ridiculous. Come on. Crew 2 would have been fine. Only one cat's in the cart. Am I right?
Let's move on. What you tell us about this amazing card that you picked?
Look, no cats.
Whatever.
None.
Yeah. So I hate it. I hate it. It's the worst card in this set.
It's made out of ghosts.
What does it do?
1 and a white for an aura. Enchanted creature gets 2/2, and you can pay 1 and a white. Exile it from your graveyard, and you can turn another target or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. So I like this a lot, because when you're running an equipment or a Voltron deck or what have you, it's hard to find a balance between creatures that interact with auras and equipment and actually running the auras and equipment. running things like Oromancer to return something from your graveyard to your hand. It sucks on its own, but it does the thing once. Having your recursion in the form of equipments or auras, it's really nice.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think this is kind of an upgrade for most of those decks.
I think it's a very interesting design. Having to exile it to bring something else back, I think that's pretty cool. My only problem with it is that you have to count on it going to the graveyard.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but if you're playing white, you're losing anyway, so... Right?
You're on a roll tonight.
No, white's fine, I just don't like anything it does. Besides this, it's nice. But no, I think this is a nice budget option for recursion. As I said, I think this replaces, in some cases, like your Oromancers and your Ironclad Knights or whatever they're called, so...
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we are we're getting into our top 5 here now. So people in chat, don't forget, think about what cards made you smile from this set, and let us know at the end. We'll bring them up on the screen. We'll talk about them. My number 5 is Draugr Necromancer. It's so cool. Look at that. Isn't that a cool card?
I think it is cool. It's really nice.
It's a snow zombie cleric. 4/4. If a non-token, I love this ability. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile that card with an ice counter on it instead. You may cast spells from among cards in exile your opponents own with ice counters on them, and you may spend mana from snow sources as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. So, I'm a big fan of casting other people's stuff. I don't like just outright stealing it. I like, casting it from other.
What's wrong with stealing it?
From other, what's wrong with it. I like casting it from other zones.
Yeah.
I'm also a fan of shutting down other players' graveyard strategies if possible, and that definitely does this because any of your opponent's creatures die, they get exiled. So that's nice.
I do like this because it's strong, but it's also really fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of hoops you have to jump through. Like it has to be non-token, which would make sense. You have to spend snow mana to do it. But it's really nice. It kind of gets around all the other graveyard players. It doesn't trigger Sir Conrad, which is a plus, depending on who you ask.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I really like it. It's also 4/4 for 4 for a cleric. It's a beefy cleric.
It's a big cleric for sure. Interestingly, we have seen ice counters before, but nothing that exiles cards with them. So
there's that dragon that does it, right?
Well, Dark Depths had ice counters on it.
Oh, I'm thinking Rhyme Scale Dragon.
Yeah, so there's a few cards that do ice counters, but nothing that says exile a card with an ice counter on it. This is the first that does that. So it's not like you can combo this with another card to exile other cards to cast them.
Right. Okay.
But
yeah,
it's cool. I like it. It's a good card. So let's see what you got here.
All right, getting into some exciting stuff. Tybalt's Trickery, baby.
I still don't understand this
Chaos
card.
Warp. It's just Chaos Warp on the stack. So 1 in a red. You counter target spell. You choose 1, 2, or 3 at random, and then your opponent mills that spell's control mills that many, or exiles that many. No, mill that many.
You don't even know what this does.
There's a lot of text on it. So you choose 1, 2, or 3 at random. They mill that many, and then you start exiling from the top until they exile a land card with a different name, and then they can cast it without paying its mana cost. It's Chaos Warp for the stack. It's amazing. This is I hate saying the word stable. This is going to go in almost all of my red decks as long as it's below $5. Unfortunately, it's pre-ordering for above $5, but I love this card. This card is sweet.
Yeah, it looks like Scryfall says $562 for the non-extended edition. So yeah, hopefully that comes down. I think that'll come down a little bit, unless the command zone says it's awesome, and then it'll go up.
This card is so good. Chaos Warp can make for some good stories in Commander, which I think is a lot of people don't like cards that are made for Commander because it's ruining the format, whatever. They make good stories, which I think is what Commander's for. This will make for some good stories. Like if you really just want to be spiteful, you can counter somebody's rampant growth, and oops, now they have an expropriate. I guess you lost, but it's really funny. So stuff like that. It's fun.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I try not to play cards that I have to read 3 times every time I play it. So I don't know. I might give this one a try. I'm not that simple, okay? But I might give this a try. It's a cool card. Okay, let's move on to my next card. We got Goldspan Dragon. 4/4 Flying Haste Dragon. Whenever it attacks or becomes a target of a spell, create a treasure. Treasures you control have tap, sacrifice this artifact, add 2 mana of any one color. So all I have to say is double your treasure, double your fun. You got that one, right?
Yeah.
You know that commercial? That one's not too old? The double mint gum? You got that one? Good. Yeah. I'm glad. I mean, I know you... It might have been, but they kept it around for like 40 years.
Yeah, that actually might be true.
This is an extremely good card, and with as much treasure stuff as we've been seeing, Dockside Extortionist is obviously in its colors. Smothering Tithe if you're playing red-white, which cool people do.
Yeah, I'm not one of those people.
You're not cool.
Not to write on this card because this card is sweet. Dockside Extortionist is the new Atraxa. Can we agree on that?
Like everybody's building it? What do you mean?
As in, because it used to be, this card is good with Gave, and then it used to be, this card is good with Atraxa. Now everything is, this card is good with Dockside Extortionist.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I like this because it doesn't really protect itself, but you do kind of get some sort of rebate if they decide to kill it. You also just get it on its hack, so it's actually, in essence, it really only costs 3 mana as long as it's around, because you'll get the other 1 treasure, and then you can just cash it in later for 2. So that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I do like this card.
The fact that it has haste is really, really good. Yeah, unfortunately, it is pre-ordering for like $14 right now. Ooh, I might not get one. Okay, let's move on. What is your next card? Look at that. There's another cutie.
Yeah, that's why I picked it. Also, there's way less text on here, so, it'll make sense to you.
I can play it. Yay! I know what this card does.
Axe card Cavalry. By the way, I couldn't spell cavalry like 3 times. I don't know where the L goes.
Calvary.
Yeah. So target creature gains haste till end of turn. You just tap it. It's a bear that gives haste. I like it. I'd probably still play Crashing Drawbridge over it, but Crashing Drawbridge can get in there for damage. And I don't know, cute. I like it. It's a dwarf riding a goat.
Yeah, yeah. If you're building red on a budget, you're always looking for more haste options because red just wants to attack right away usually. So adding more stuff with that gives a creature haste. This is good for your Itali decks or whatever. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, like you said, Crashing Drawbridge is severely underappreciated because it gives all your creatures haste and can go in any color. So that's so it's not as good as that, but this is a good card, and that art is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's mostly for the art. There's this one and there's that bird that I don't think it's either on our list, but it's just a bird that is like flying away from an explosion. It should have sunglasses or something. But you know what card I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, you read your next card. I'm gonna see if I can find it for you.
Okay. All right. Moving on to my number 3. Hey, we're back here with Reflections of Littjara. Okay, so as we already said, this card is super strong in tribal strategies in blue. Merfolk are going to be running it. It's not as good as Kindred Discovery as far as like blue tribal enchantments go, but it's still definitely really, really good and powerful. and I dig it.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
All right, not much else we need to say. Did you send me something here?
I did. I sent you that card I was just talking about.
Okay.
So special shout out to, you know, the companion to Axgard Cavalry, and no, it's not the GOAT.
Battlefield Raptor.
Look at that thing. It's just flying away from the explosion.
It totally does look like an action movie when they're walking away slow. Oh no, I messed up. There we go. I messed up your camera for a second there. All right, let's get back into our list here. Oh,
Cool.
we're on to yours.
All right, top 3. All right, so we're showing Rune of Flight, but I like all the runes. So Rune of Flight, and then all the runes do this. It's 1 in whatever color it is. You can enchant a permanent. So when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card. I guess for all of them, which is nice. So they all cantrip.
Mhm.
And if you enchant a permanent that's a creature has a keyword. And then you can also enchant an equipment, and then the equipment grants that trait. So I like these because it really reminds me of just a lot of modern games, like I'm not even modern anymore, but like World of Warcraft and Diablo, where you can just kind of like socket stuff into your gear. It's super sweet. I totally dig it.
Yeah, these runes are pretty interesting. I like the design on them. This green one is like kind of a Skyrim ripoff here, but yeah, I like that you can enchant an equipment. That's pretty cool. I might pick up 1 or 2 of these for my Kaikar equipment deck. I think that'd be fun. Just adding another
I
ability
think
there.
these cantrip because it's you think, you know, putting an aura on a creature is risky because you get 2 for 1. If you put this on an aura or an equipment, like it's or an equipment rather, it's super risky, which is, you know, probably why they give you the cantrip for it. It's like, well, if you get God, at least you drew a card out of it.
Yeah. You know what's funny is that when I play my Kaikar deck, my artifacts, like my equipment, rarely gets destroyed. It's always my creatures. People that go after Kaikar. I don't think people run like a ton of artifact removal anymore. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't even see Vandal Blast. I haven't seen Vandal Blast in a hot minute, and that used to be like the removal card for artifacts.
Yeah, I don't see that very often. I think I don't know. People tend to just not run cards that aren't always good. Because Vandal Blast, you know, you might have a pod where there's no artifacts, and then it just sits in your hand a dead card. But
right,
in some games, it's really good. I quake in fear and terror from that card whenever I play Traxos.
Oh,
because that would
just GG after that.
Yeah, I'd probably just scoop. If I didn't have Warping Whale in my hand, I'm probably scooping.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, let's move on here to my next one. Look at that, Valky. It's Valky, cousin Valky, God of Lies. Do you remember that show?
Hey, I'm lying here.
Valky, God of Lies. So you know Perfect Strangers?
I know.
Okay.
70s?
No.
Okay.
Late 80s, early 90s,
Ah, shoot.
I think. As part of the TGIF.
Like the food place?
Valky God of Lies is a 2/1 legendary creature god. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent reveals their hand. For each opponent, exile a creature card they reveal this way until Valky leaves the battlefield. Pay X. Choose a creature card exiled with Valky with converted mana cost X. Valky becomes a copy of that card. So now this front side, I don't think the front side is like super amazing, which is why it only costs 2, because you're very likely to just whiff. But there's a surprise on this one. Oh, it's a Planeswalker. It's Tibalt, a good Tibalt card, even though it costs 7 mana. Tibalt, Cosmic Imposter, comes in with 5 loyalty. Enters a battlefield, you get an emblem. You don't even have to ult with this guy. You just get an emblem, just for casting it.
Oh, wow, you're right.
You get an emblem with, you may play cards exiled with Tibalt, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. So you get a +2, exile the top card of each player's library. You can cast those. -3, exile target artifact or creature. You can cast those. -8, exile all cards from graveyards. Add 3 red mana. You can cast those cards. This is really...
That's way better than I thought it was. Whoa. Oh my goodness.
This card is... I kind of want to build this deck. Because this is... Like I said before, I love casting other people's stuff from different zones, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fun. I don't like stealing people's stuff that they already have out. I just think that's feel bads. But if I'm stealing stuff from your other zone, that's less feel bads, right? Kind of.
Yeah. Okay. I would agree that most people feel that way.
It's just so good. I love it. I want this card very much. Unfortunately,
has there ever been such a drastic change in converted mana cost for a Planeswalker before? It's either super low or super high for Tibble. Like, going from 2 to 7 is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a big change. So this is also the first flip Planeswalker card that you can cast as the Planeswalker, right? Because the original flip ones, you had to cast them as creatures, and then something would happen, and then they'd flip. But here, you could just cast either side.
Yeah. Then there was, what was it? The ones that were just Planeswalkers on both sides, like Garrick and Arlen.
Okay.
But yeah, you can cast it for, you know, the Planeswalker, the other side, if you wanted to. So yeah, this is cool.
I like this one. This is pre-ordering for almost $20.
Wow.
So again, I might not get it. I might splurge on this one because it's so fun. It's such a fun card. Anyway, let's move on to your number 2.
All right, a much less pricey card. We got Raven Wings. Nick, why are you choosing this card? Because it makes your creature a bird. That's the only reason why. So, Zach from Commander Social, both Zach and Ryan Green, I guess, they have this thing where anything that flies is technically a bird. Like, angels have wings, they're birds. Raven Wings just kind of, you know, puts that whole question out of the equation. It is a bird.
It's a bird.
It's a bird. You can put runes on it.
Yeah, you can. The card is funny. It is definitely funny. I will give you that.
Don't you want your Zergo Helm Smasher to have +1/+0 and flying and be a bird?
Now I do.
Yeah.
It's a good card. It's a good card.
One's blocking that bird.
I think so. You know, especially, you know, if you're building a commander on a budget that you really want to make sure gets in there, give it flying, and that works.
Yeah, this is just in my opinion, it's a funnier option than like putting Kite Sail in your deck. And I've done that before. It just makes it a bird.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Love it.
All right, we're on to our number 1s. All right, don't forget, people in chat, when we're done with our list, let us know what your favorite cards were, or the cards that made you smile, whatever, and we'll bring them up. We'll talk about them. So here's my number 1, and it is actually a cycle, like your runes. I picked the Saga art. So all of the art from the sagas, the new sagas in this set, is amazing. Especially this one right here, Binding the Old Gods. This is actually carved wood.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Which I've never seen that on a Magic card. It's carved wood. That's amazing. It's just a picture of a carving. It's so cool, and I think all the sagas just have just amazing art. I got a couple here that I'll show you. The Blood Sky Massacre. The art is the story is being told on a tattoo. This isn't a real tattoo. If this was a real tattoo, that would be amazing. Sadly, no. This is a painting, like most cards. But the story being told on a tattoo is so cool and flavorful. I love it. And what else we got here? Arnie Slays the Troll. So this one, I think this is a painting as well. I don't believe that's an actual horn, but it's a carving. The story is carved on a horn. It's so cool.
No elephants died in the making of this card.
Yes, that is important to point out. Correct. I love it. I love when
Yeah,
they
that's super
do
cool. I didn't know
interesting things with art. I think this whole set, they just did so much cool stuff with the art, like just the variations and the alternate arts and stuff. I know some people weren't too keen on this type of border that we saw on the Amulet here, but I think it's cool. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, they're knocking it out with that showcase frame.
Yeah. Ready for your number one?
Yeah, let's go.
No surprise here. Look at those colors.
It's an legend. Hey!
Is it legend? No.
Agar the Freezing Flame. So you mentioned with the Thor god that, you know, if your commander survives, you get to do XX damage to more stuff. With Agar, it doesn't matter if it dies. As long as you do the damage, Agar will see it, and if you cast Plasma Sack, you'll draw like 13 cards, at least. You know, assuming there are so many creatures. So I like it. It's super simple. I put it on Twitter today, but Wizards is, for one reason or another, leaning into a more tribal focused thing for the Izzet color combination. So most recently we've had pirates from Commander Legends, which they've never really had before. I mean, you had Admiral Beckett Brass, but that was in Grixis. Then you had Wizards with Kazaa and the one from Dominaria, Adeliz. And now we have giants just as a tribe that Izzet can now focus on, which is super sweet. I don't know why they're doing it, but I want them to keep doing it. Most of them, if not all of them, are spell adjacent, so it kind of, you know, ties the whole Izzet guild package together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a real big fan of this. It's also a giant wizard, which is super funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to draw you a lot of cards. It's going to be pretty easy to build this deck so that it does. Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Yeah, if they try to block your giant giants, if you have trample, you'll draw a card. Or you don't even need trample. Does this not work with trample? Because it has to be dealt excess damage, and if the excess damage is already being dealt to the player, it doesn't do anything, right? Huh. That's interesting. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know. All right.
Plasma Sack, do it.
Yeah. Plasma Sack got reprinted. Thank you very much. Commander Legends. Hopefully that'll stay down in price for a while. Okay.
Yeah, so let's go to chat.
That's our top 10, man. That's our top 10. How do you feel about this set so far? I think we're done with previews.
Yeah. Now that previous season is officially over, as far as I know, I'm glad that there's nothing that I am striving to build around.
Okay.
You know, we've had, I feel like we've been in perpetual spoiler new card season for even since before the pandemic, and at least for me, it finally feels like it's starting to be over, where I can just kind of relax and say, okay, now I can look at M21 and, you know, see what cards I want to build around there and all that stuff. It gives me time to catch up, so I like what they're doing here. I'm just not as invested as other people, and that's okay.
Yeah, I'm totally cool with, you know, not every set being for me, because like you said, that it kind of gives you a breather on, you know, looking at cards and feeling like you got a brew, or having that FOMO, you know, feeling like you want to buy a box every set. You know, I'm glad I don't feel like I need to run out and buy some booster boxes or anything like this, because I don't want to spend my money that way anyways. But I actually really like this set. I think it's a good set. I think there's really interesting cards here. I've never been really all that interested in snow as a mechanic.
Yeah,
but
we should talk about that.
But I think that this set definitely gave us some cards that changed that for me. There's a couple of commanders in there that I want to try. I know the zombie wizard one, the Dimir one. There's also the Sultai one that untaps all your snow permanents whenever it attacks. That's really strong.
Yeah, CEDH Slave in chat, one of our newest Twitter followers as well, asked to hear our opinions on it.
All right, let's bring it up.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now. It's Yorn, as Aaron effectively calls it, John.
John. I'm pretty sure.
John, God of Winter.
Yeah, so whenever it attacks, untap each snow permanent you control. That includes your lands.
It's only a 3/3 for 3. Like, that's really scary in my opinion. Not like swinging with creatures.
Yeah. So on the other side, we've got a legendary snow artifact, Cauldron, the Rime Staff. You may play target snow permanent card from your graveyard this turn. If you do, it enters the battlefield tapped.
I like this side more than the untap your snow permanents. I know it's probably better on the God of Winter side, but the Rime Staff side, it's just... This is a way where you can kind of play a different version of Muldrotha, but be snow-based if you want, which is cool. By the way, going back to the snow thing, what are your thoughts on snow basics replacing literally every basic? I know that's been a hot button issue in the community. EDH Rec just did a rec room on it a couple hours ago. I don't know if you had time to listen to that yet, but no. The concern is that there's almost no reason not to run snow basics. What are your thoughts on
that? I think my problem with snow basics is that they always end up getting really expensive. So that's why I don't have them in any decks.
Yeah, like that's a legitimate concern.
Like I wanted to like stock up on them during Modern Horizons, but I just never got around to it, and now they're all like over $1 each, or close to, anyways. And that's why I've never done it. But we're getting more snow basics with this set, so they'll be cheap for a while. For quite a while, probably, since it's in a standard set. I think those snow duels, the common ones that come into play tapped, are really, really good. Like seeing the actual land types on a common, that's pretty amazing. And we had talked about that before, how that made me kind of hope and think that maybe this would, they would reprint Farseek in this set, but they did not do that.
They didn't reprint Into the North either, which is the Nature's Lore, but for snow cards.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't reprint that either, so that's going to be expensive. One of the cards that BarbariansRiddle actually shouted out before it spiked.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I guess for me, it's two things. One, I share your concern with like the whole budget thing. Like, I'm not about to spend like $50 on snow basics. Like, get out of here. If I'm going to spend $50 on basics, yes, I've done it before. It's going to be for a specific art. I don't really care if it has a snow super type or not.
Yeah.
And there are so many cool basics that have come out like the past couple of years even. And like, if you picked out your favorites, willing to have them like invalidated by it not being snow super type, who cares? Yeah. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I feel like the concern is a bit overblown.
I didn't even know there was concern, so to be honest, I'm not worried about it. I mean, if people want to run snow basics, that's fine. I don't really care.
I've been on Twitter all day. Don't fire me. So let's see what else we got in chat. Andy Fleury wants to hear our opinions on Harnfell, Horn of Bounty.
Okay, so that's the flip side of one of the mono red creatures, right?
Oh yeah, I'm actually interested in Burgie or Burgie.
Yeah.
Fergie.
Burgie. Fergie. It's this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Burgie, God of Storytelling. Whenever you cast a spell, add a red. That's really good. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. That's really good. Creatures you control can boast twice during each of your turns rather than once. So boast is that ability that we saw on Varigoth, where as long as it attacks, you can activate that ability.
Mm-hmm.
And you can only do it once each turn. But now your creatures can boast twice if you have this out. And so he's specifically asking about the flip side, which is Harnfell, Horn of Bounty. Legendary artifact, discard a card. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously going to go into every Angie Falconwrath deck out there. Yes. That's for sure. But that's some serious card advantage. It's really serious card advantage. Like there's like no downside.
Yeah, if this was a card just by itself, I would seriously consider running it in a lot of mono red decks. And you know me, I like mono red.
Yeah.
But since it is attached to Fergie, whatever, it's such a good Storm commander. You could build budget Storm in Commander now, and you'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like you could win the game with Grapeshot if you really wanted to. Grinning Ignis, the picture that I put out in that tweet, goes infinite with Burgie.
Yeah, no, I think both sides of this are really good. That's a strong card.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you might run out of cards, so that's a problem because you got to discard a card to get 2 cards exiled. They don't go to your hand, so you could run out. But
yeah, that's if you use Magus of the Wheel, you can activate it, pitch them all. You can get 14 cards if you don't like your 7. So it's risky, but it's fun.
Yeah, and you have to play him this turn, so it's not like you can store him up until next turn.
You're in red, you're fine.
Yeah, no, that's a good card. Let's see, what else do we have? Anybody else in chat have anything they wanted us to talk about? Let's see. Sully, hey Sully, wanted us to look at Rise of the Dreadmart. Okay. Let's bring that one up. I was looking at this card too. Alright, so this is an instant for 2 and a black. Create X 2/2 black zombie berserker creature tokens, where X is the number of non-token creatures that died this turn. And it's got Foretell for just a black.
I like this card a lot.
Oh, it's super strong. Just cast this in response to any board wipe, and your board is filled.
Yep, and you can just foretell it, keep it away until you need it.
Yeah,
and it's 1 black.
I think another cool thing about foretell is that it's not like a lot of those abilities like this where it's only at sorcery speed. You can do it any time as long as it's during your turn. You can foretell it, but then you can cast it at any time because it's an instant.
Right.
So, yeah, this is definitely a very cool way to recover from board wipe. I like it.
And it makes berserkers.
Makes berserkers. It's kind of a weird creature type that they're really latching onto in this set. Berserkers. Like I don't know. It seems like I don't know how long they've been doing it this way, but like every creature has like 2 types. It's like the type of thing that they are, and then their job. You know?
Yeah. I know they're really pushing for it, or at least for some jobs more than others because of Zendikar Rising. Like you're noticing a lot more things that are warriors and that are wizards and that are rogues and clerics. It's just kind of funny that Berserker kind of showed up here. Like it could have been warriors.
Yeah. And they're definitely doing that more with tokens now too. Like used to be a token would just be a warrior token. You know, it wouldn't have like a specific creature type, it'd just have its job on it. It's just right. A warrior. Whereas now they don't do that anymore. Now like even all the cards that make tokens now all have like their whatever they are plus their job, you know.
Because people get mad when you have your soldier token, but then this one makes knight tokens, and then this one makes warrior tokens, and so like for certain tribal aspects, it was just kind of annoying to keep track of.
Yeah. Although I guess that makes things more difficult when you have token stock, you know, like you can't just use a zombie token anymore for this card. You got to pay money to get a zombie berserker token.
Yeah, just like put an axe sticker on it or something.
Yeah.
Berserker.
Anything else? Oh, let's see. Sully had one more here. Starnheim Aspirant. Let's see what that is. Angel spells you cast cost 2 less to cast.
That's for angel tribal players. This is really good.
So this is Dragon Speaker Shaman for angels.
Yeah, good call.
That's good. I don't see a lot of angel decks. Do you? I've seen a few.
In college playgroup, there was one of my friends, Steph, who had an Angel deck. This and one of my I guess pre-pandemic play groups. My other friends, Nicole, had an Avacyn deck, and it was like all Angels. So this is a slam dunk thing that's going to. It seems unassuming at first because, it's like Dragon Speaker Shaman. But it by itself is not scary, but what it brings to the table is going to be very scary. Mm-hmm. If this brings your Avacyn Angel of Hope down like 2 turns earlier, especially in mono white, that's really good.
Yeah, and I suppose this can go in like almost any commander deck that's just being run by an Angel, right? Like Avacyn Angel of Hope, was it 8 mana? This is going to go in any of those decks, even if it's not an Angel tribal deck. You're going to want ways to make Avacyn cheaper, especially since it's mono white.
This is really good in the flip Avacyn too.
Yeah.
Because as a human, so if it dies, you activate the flip thing.
Yeah. Lisa, Shroud of Dusk could be good in.
Oh yeah.
Because then you're just paying white, black, and 2 life. That's that's a good card. I like it. What else we got?
Another one from Andy Fleury. Coyle is excited to play Elderfang Disciple in his Shirei deck. Oh boy.
When it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card.
It's a burglar rat. It's another one. Oh boy.
Yeah, that's all right.
Aaron's gonna play it too.
It's interesting. It's an elf.
Yeah, elf cleric. I'll like that cleric call out.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever really run any discard spells in EDH. Have you ever played anything with like heavy discard themes, like not yourself, like your opponents discarding?
The most that I've done actually was on our episode with Dana and Max, where I played Rexiel and Gyruda. And because I knew I couldn't really keep up and I wanted stuff in the graveyard, my graveyard and yours, I ran a lot of these burglar rat effects, at 2 and 4 and 6 even. And it was fine. I didn't think it was that powerful. I mean, it's not like Tiny Bones powerful, but I don't know. If you can recur it, obviously, it's really good.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's not for me.
All right. Well, I haven't seen anything new in chat recently. Anything else you want to talk about? Are you ready to bring this to a close?
Look, yeah, I do want to talk about one more card.
Okay.
What is that monster binding thing? The one that we were talking about right before we went live. Bind the monster. Yeah, that's what it is.
Bind the monster?
Bind the monster.
Okay. I think this was just revealed today.
Yeah. So, if you know what the card Victimize in black is, this is a blue Victimize. It's not instant speed, but it doesn't really matter. This is really good. So
when it enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature. It deals damage equal to its power. The enchanted creature doesn't untap. Yeah, I mean, you're only paying a blue mana for it. And, I mean, taking the damage kind of sucks, but if you're taking out a threat for most of the game, that's pretty good. Yeah, like I would definitely put this on, like, an Eldrazi, where I'd rather just take the hit now than having to do the Annihilated triggers later. Like, sure, I'll take 10 from your Ulamog, it's fine. But now I don't have to deal with it anymore, which is, that's what makes this card good. It's really good on creatures that are just kind of annoying, that like when doing the untap thing. This just locks them down. It's good for aggro commanders, like, yeah, I'll take 7 damage from Zergo Helm Smasher, but then, 1, it's not commander damage, 2, I never have to deal with it again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's good. It's pretty cheap removal. I mean, it's technically removal. The creature's still there, but it's can't attack.
Right.
Yeah, I dig it. Sully said Pyre of Heroes, so that's another pod thing, right?
Yeah, that's the tribal pod.
Yeah. Pay 2, tap it, sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a creature card that shares a creature type with the sacrificed creature and has converted mana cost equal to 1 plus that creature's converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield and shuffle your library. Activate only at sorcery speed. It's colorless, so it can go in any tribal deck.
So it's funny. So I saw this, and the first thing I see when I see like colorless artifact, whatever, choose a creature thing, or it has a creature type, it cares about it. I think of goblins because I play goblins as a deck in every 60 card format. Goblins doesn't really need this because it's so good now. It's like goblins is way better than it used to be. I think this would be good in zombies though. You're sacrificing the creature. You want your zombies in the graveyard because normally you can recur them, and otherwise they have death triggers too. So I think that would be really good there. It's good in. I know Coil has a tribal deck.
Oh yeah.
So you can, sacrifice a changeling, get whatever you want. +1 on the converted mana cost.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. I don't think it's as busted as people are going to think it is. It's going to have its limited uses like every tribal card. What do you think?
I think it's really strong. And I'm sure it's going to see a lot of play. I'm just not... I don't have a deck for it right now, so that's why I'm not super excited about it, but maybe at some point I will. I mean, the fact that you can only do it on sorcery speed kind of sucks, because you can't, like, sacrifice something in response to it about to die to something,
Yeah.
But still, it's, good way to work up the ladder. I don't know if you can think of anything that, like, when it enters a battlefield, untap an artifact or something like that so you can do it again.
Yeah, Sully was talking about, it works with constructs, and I think one of the ones from Eldraine, it was like Hall Monitor or Corridor Monitor. I think it's a construct that you can tutor up, and then it untaps an artifact when it enters the battlefield.
Yeah, but that's just one thing that enters the battlefield.
I'm sure there are chains that you can do with some creatures to untap this thing, but I mean, if you're doing that, you're already playing a pod deck anyway, so...
Yeah.
If you have to... I don't know for those decks. Like, okay, well, let's ask the question, is this good in pod decks? And I think if you have to change the rest of your deck, to have the same creature type or sharing creature types to make this good, I don't think it's good in those decks.
Mm-hmm. So I pulled up Birthing Pod here. Let's see how it's different. So it's 1 in a green or Phyrexian, sacrifice a creature, search your library for so this is the exact same thing, except Pyre of Heroes specifically has to have the same creature type. So there's a drawback there, but there's going to be plenty of tribal decks that are going to want that. Plus, you can now do this. Previously, white, black, and red didn't have access to this type of effect, because we've had Birthing Pod, we've had Vanifar.
Yeah, that's true.
Blue and green. Now the other colors have access to this. So that's good. I think I could see this in like a Dragon Egg deck, something like that. Like sacrifice a Dragon Egg to go get a bigger dragon, but then you also get a dragon token. I don't know. I'm sure there's lots of great decks for this. I don't have one.
Yeah, I gotcha. But as I said, I think if any tribal deck wants this, the one that jumps out to me is zombies.
Yeah. So let's see. Andy Flory mentioned Clock of Omens. Tap 2 untapped artifacts you control. Untap target artifact. Yeah, I mean, that could work if you've got enough artifacts. If you play like a Mirror Battlesphere to get a bunch of mirrors or something like that. Yeah. That's a potential possibility. Yeah, I dig it. I think that should be it. Anything else you want to talk about?
That is it for me.
All right, cool. Well, if you're hanging out with us here on Twitch tonight, thank you. Thanks for sticking around for this and talking about the new Kaldheim set with us. I had a lot of fun. We talked about some cool cards. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you always know when we post videos. If you're watching on Twitch, I think you're all followers, so I don't need to tell you that. But thank you everybody for coming.
93 followers. We're so close. We're at 93 followers here and on Twitter.
Yeah. Go tell your friends.
Twitter, if you're not doing that already, please. We're almost to 100 followers. That was one of my wasn't that one of our goals?
Your goal was to hit 200 by the end of this year.
200. I'm falling behind. Help me not look like an idiot. We have 97 followers on Twitter. Help us out.
If we get to 200, then we can stop retweeting everything from our personal accounts, right?
I mean, yeah, that's true. Then I won't have to do that anymore. It'll save me work and it'll save you frustration. Help me help you. Help me.
Help me help you. Have a great night, everybody. Remember, Black Lives Matter. Trans rights are human rights. Good night.
Good night.
I actually had to read this card. Well, I haven't stopped reading the card.
It's still reading it to this day. Legend has...
It's the card that doesn't end.